Today, we are going to be reviewing some of the information we learned about Omni during our special tech talk in June, and there are some updates to review. This is Omni. Omni is the MTA's contactless payment system. So we talked about this in June. If you've seen any of these readers that look like that, that's the Omni system. So what it is a way to pay without using a Metro card, with using any sort of contactless payment method. One thing that has changed is actually on August 20th, the fare went up. So I had to change this from $275 to $290. So if you are paying full fare, you can use any of these Omni payment methods, and you can do this real straightforward. You don't have to do any other process. You can just pay with one of these contactless cards. So anything that has this contactless logo on it, these lines that sort of look like a sound coming out. You can use a digital wallet, and we did a whole tech talk on setting up a digital wallet, or you can buy an Omni card, which is a little challenging right now. But it will be easier in the near future, and we'll talk about that more. It's kind of like the thing that's going to replace the Metro card itself, and it's also contactless. So let's go through some of these steps a little bit. If you have a credit, debit, or prepaid card that has that contactless symbol, many of them do. I actually had a debit card that for some reason was holding out on doing that for a long time, and then I just got one that had it. So mine has it now. So just double check. It's usually in the top right-hand corner. All you have to do is hold your card up to that Omni reader within about 2 inches. So pretty close. You can tap it. Tapping it is just a way to make sure it's close enough, and hold it there until the light turns green. When the light turns green, that will be charged onto your card and you can pass through the turnstile. It's that simple. This is if you're paying full fare. And see, that's just an example of someone doing it. Okay, if you already have a digital wallet set up that you use to pay for other things, you can open your wallet on your device. So do that as you would when you're paying for something else. So unlock your phone, open your wallet app, click on the card. If you have more than one card on there, click on the card that you want to use. And then you're going to tap the back of your phone to the Omni reader in the same way you would do with a debit or credit card, and hold it there. Same thing, about 2 inches. And just make sure that the lights turn green before you pass through. Sometimes you have to enter a PIN on your phone to get your digital wallet to work. Mine doesn't do that anymore, and I don't, unless you've added that as an extra step, I don't think it'll ask you to do that. So again, check out the tech talk about Google Wallet if you want to set up a digital wallet. That's an easy way because you always got your phone on you. Or if you have an Apple Watch or another one of those wearable devices that you can set payment up on a digital wallet on there, you can do that as well. And that's just an example of somebody doing that. They're using Google Pay in this one. That would be, Google Wallet would do Google Pay. That's the one that we show you how to set up in the previous tech talk. And you're just waiting for the light to turn green, and then you're all set. And then that's somebody doing it with their smartwatch. So if you have an Apple Watch or something like that, you can set that up as well. This is sort of the next phase, and we'll talk about this a little bit more too. So the Omni card is what you can use if you either don't have a debit card or a digital wallet, or if you're just not comfortable using those. What this is the Omni card is a prepaid card. So it's like the Metro card where you put money on it. The card itself, I think, costs $1, and you just keep it forever and reload it. It's the same thing where it's contactless. So you just put it over the thing 2 inches and it'll scan and then deduct that ride from the amount of money that you put on the card. The issue right now is that there aren't many of these Omni card vending machines in subway stations yet. So bizarrely, you can get them purchased and refilled at places like Walgreens and CVS, but not many subway stations. That will change in the near future. But for right now, this is a little bit of more of a complicated option. If you do want to get an Omni card now before the rollout's done, you can go to omni.info/retail locations to find out where you can get one. But that will become easier in the future. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. And this is just an example of somebody using an Omni card. So it's a little bit thicker and more substantial than a Metro card is. It's more like a credit card. So this is an ongoing transition. I think in the last presentation, I told you the aim was for it to be done by 2024. I think they've pushed that back to 2025. Like many things, it's taken more time than they thought it would, but it is still happening, just a little bit slower than planned. Given that, what's the benefit of using Omni right now? We talked about this a little bit last time, but I just wanted to remind you about some of these things. So contactless payment is one of those things that's becoming more and more prevalent. It's quick and convenient once you set it up. Tapping your card is pretty easy. It is quite safe. So they've had a lot of people that have worked on this system to make sure that it is resistant to things like identity theft or anybody getting your information. And it's quite new. So it's sort of the top of the line when it comes to that kind of protection. So from all accounts that I've looked at, it's a safe system to use. They are going to eventually switch over completely to Omni, and the scheduled date for that now is 2025. But if you get a head start now, it won't be as abrupt in 2025 when they do switch over. So you'll be ahead of the curve there. This is another great thing, is that you can take advantage of fare capping. I went into detail about that on the last Tech Talk, but for now, I'll just tell you the basics of it because it's actually gotten a little bit simpler since we talked before. So basically what it is, in any 7-day period, if you take 12 rides, then all the rides in that 7-day period after that will be free. So you're capped at 12, having to pay for 12 rides in a 7-day period. That's only with Omni, and you have to use the same Omni payment method every single time. So if you use one particular debit card, you have to use that for all of those rides in order to take advantage of fare capping. If you use a digital wallet, you have to use that digital wallet with that card every time during that 7-day period in order to get the fare capping benefits. But that's pretty cool, right? So like 12 rides and then everything after that in that 7-day period is free. And one of the things that has actually changed since last we spoke about this was it used to be that 7-day period, I think, always started at like Monday at midnight or something like that. It was very specific when the 7 days started. Now it's within any 7-day period. All right. So the first time you swipe your card in a 7-day period, that's your first ride. It's not bound by a specific day, which is cool. It gives you more flexibility there. You do 12 rides, do them all on the same card or using the same device with Omni, and you will not have to pay for any more rides during that 7-day period. Still swipe it, don't like run through the turnstile or anything, but it won't charge you for those. We talked about this one in depth last time too. If you want to link a reduced fare Metro card, so reduced fare specifically for seniors and people with disabilities, you can link that card to the Omni system so that you can pay with a digital wallet or a debit card, and it'll only take out your half fare instead of the full fare. That's a little process that you have to do. It's real quick, pretty basic. I talk about that in depth in the last Tech Talk. So I would send you to that one if you want to do that. Okay, so I wanted to set up some sort of troubleshooting things, like things you may have run into as problems using the Omni system, because it's not perfect. Things happen and it's technology, so it can be really funky sometimes. So this is an example. So you're someone who uses the digital wallet to pay your fare through Omni, but sometimes when you go to tap the phone on the reader, your card has timed out or your wallet has closed, right? What should you do? Sometimes your phone will go to sleep, your card will, do this thing where it sort of blinks and is ready to pay for about 5 seconds and then it stops. Here's some tips on how to deal with that. Make sure that when you select the card you want to use to pay with in your digital wallet, you're pretty close to the reader already. So think about, you don't want to get that when you're at the top of the stairs going down to the subway station. You want to do that once you're at the bottom of the stairs and near the reader, because you have somewhere between like 5 and 10 seconds of pulling that card up to scan it onto the thing. And the reason that is the case is security. They don't want your phone just open with your payment information scannable for any longer than how long you actually need it. So you might want to practice with that a couple of times when the train station isn't that full. It takes a little bit of finagling to get the timing right. I had to deal with that too. So just get yourself close to the reader, open up your wallet, select your card. On my phone, what it does is it sort of has a little flashing thing, and that means it's in the mode where it'll pay. On iPhones, I think you actually have a thing where you can set it up so it scans without even having to open the wallet up. But just make sure that you're sort of getting the timing of that right. That'll help you avoid things like your phone falling asleep. If your phone does fall asleep or the app closes or your card's not there anymore, just go ahead and unlock your phone, reopen the app, and re-tap on the card. You can just go through the process again. It's kind of a drag, but you'll get used to it after a while. And you'll know that it actually worked when the lights turn green and you can go through the turnstile. Okay, here's another question. All right, this is someone who uses their debit or credit card to pay with the Omni reader. And sometimes you do that and nothing happens, like the lights don't turn green. What do you do in that situation? First, if it's a card you haven't used before, just double check that it has that contactless logo on it that looks like these lines. Like I said, many cards have it now, but not all. Just make sure that's the case. If you don't have that logo on your card, you won't be able to use that card directly, but you may be able to add it to a digital wallet and pay that way. So just double check that first. If it does have that logo, so you know that that is a contactless card, make sure that you're holding your card within 2 inches of the reader. That's another thing that you might have to practice a little bit, just to make sure that you're getting it in the right distance. The reason they say tap is because tapping it makes sure that you are close enough. So if you're actually like sort of coming in contact with part of the card and the reader, then you know that it's in the right distance to be read. And hold that card in place until you see the green lights. And if you do this several times and it's still not working and there's no particular reason, tell an MTA official and they should be able to either help you or let you in. Sometimes you'll come across a reader that is out of service and it'll say out of service on it and it'll have red lights. In that case, try and find another reader, or if it's on a bus, just tell the bus driver that it's out of service. They probably already know, but tell them that and they can help you out. So somebody was saying that they were part of the Fair Fares program and asking, can we use Omni to pay for that form of reduced fare? So the Fair Fare program is a half price Metro card for eligible New Yorkers who are below a certain income level. And it's something you apply for. The one drawback right now is that Omni doesn't yet work with Fair Fares, but the MTA plans to roll out methods for paying Fair Fares through the Omni system by the end of this year. I say that was their tentative deadline. It might take a little bit longer. And as soon as I know what that process is, I will share that information with you. But until then, if you are somebody who gets Fair Fares, just keep using your Fair Fares Metro card for right now, just to make sure that you're getting the right fare paid. And like I said before, if you have a reduced fare Metro card that's based on being a senior or a person with a disability, that you can link to the Omni system right now. Okay, and then I want to just give you a little sense of what to look out for next in the MTA's Omni rollout. One of the things is that Omni machines, Omni vending machines will be available in more subway stations. And this is a display version of one that I have a picture of here. So that will be a place where you can get those contactless payment Omni cards. So if you're not comfortable or if you can't pay with a debit card or a digital wallet, that's where you'll get your Omni card and be able to reload it. And then with those, you'll just tap the reader and go. The other thing that I didn't know about until I looked it up just recently is they're going to be installing Omni on Access-a-Ride paratransit. So they'll have Omni readers on paratransit buses and vans. You'll still be able to pay for those rides with cash if you prefer to do that, but you'll also have the option of paying with Omni. Within the next year, that should be set up. And also that Omni will be made available for Fair Fares, like I said, and student fares in the near future too. And finally, Omni is going to be expanding to commuter rail as well. So the very last phase of this rollout is that Omni is going to link to the Long Island Railroad and Metro North and replace their e-ticket system. That's what they seem to be planning sort of for 2025 at this point. So that's a little bit farther down the road, but it's the eventual goal of the program. So if you're somebody that uses commuter rail sometimes to visit people or to go, outside the 5 boroughs, that's a helpful thing to know. I did look up too that the AirTrain at JFK now takes Omni if that is something you ever need to use. It's a link here about how Omni works, some information if you have questions, send a request to Omni directly. And I hope that was helpful.